I came here in 2004 as a psychology major and transferred into English, and when I did, this kind of became my home. All of my professors were here, and eventually I had a minor in women's studies, and those professors were here, and had another minor in religious studies, and those professors were here. And so I've had a lot of long afternoons and evenings here being taught theory and feminism and poetry and literature, and those are all the things I like best. So it'll come down sometime within the year, I believe, probably when the students leave for the academic year in the summer, I imagine. And it's been sort of on the decline for a long time, and it's really sad to me. You know, this was sort of where I came up intellectually, and these rooms meant a great deal. And it's also, you know, a little romantic because this was the first women's dorm on campus. And so the first women that were admitted to this college lived here, and so there's a lot of, these walls have seen a lot. I feel sad to have it go. Yeah, so people came and did literary graffiti. I was actually out of town when this event went on, but I came afterward and actually walked through the halls and wept a little bit. So students and professors and people from all over, alumni came and wrote literary graffiti all over the walls, excerpts from their favorite books and poems and quotes from their favorite authors, and they're just everywhere, all along the halls and in the walls. So this is a good room that we walked into. I don't know what it would have been used for originally. It's too little to have been a living space. But these are a couple of my favorite poets. This one is by Larry Levis, and he says, "You were nothing. You were snow falling through the ribs of the dead. You were all I had." I love that. He's a strange poet, writes these long narrative pieces. And this woman is a strange poet too. Her name's Anne Carson, and she wrote, "Tongue is the smell of October to me." She tends to write in broken syntax, and I really like her work. This is by a woman named Jeanette Winterson, who's meant a lot to me personally. She is a queer writer who's British. Her new memoir actually is called "Why Be Happy When You Can Be Normal," which is what her mother said to her when she was coming out, and in fact what her mother said to her when she was being kicked out of the house. So I don't know what work this is from. I might by the time I'm done reading it. The scapula or shoulder blade. The scapula is a flat triangular shaped bone which lies on the posterior wall, superficial to the ribs and separated from them by muscle. Shuttered like a fan, no one suspects your shoulder blades of wings. While you lay on your belly, I kneaded the hard edges of your flight. You are a fallen angel, but still as the angels are, body light as a dragonfly, great gold wings cut across the sun. If I'm not careful, you'll cut me. If I slip my hand too casually down the sharp side of your scapula, I will fly away a bleeding palm. I know the stigmata of presumption, the wound that will not heal if I take you for granted. Nail me to you. I will ride you like a nightmare. You are the winged horse Pegasus who would not be saddled. Strain under me. I want to see your muscles skein flesh and stretch, such innocence triangles holding hidden strength. Don't rear at me with unfolding power. I fear you in our bed when I put out my hand to touch you and feel the twin razors turn toward me. You sleep with your back towards me so that I will know the full extent of you. It is sufficient. Jeanette Winterson.
Have you had a chance to leave one of yours?
You know, I haven't, actually. I haven't. No, not
Will
yet.
you?
Yeah, I will. I will.
Okay.
As we were walking through this hallway, I just noticed that this is Zach De La Rocha, who's a band member in Rage Against the Machine, which is something I liked when I was 14. And so there's, you know, this sort of heavy metal up against Hemingway, and there's a Fight Club quote up there, and, you know, Ursula Le Guin on the bottom, and the Notorious B.I.G. over here. So all kinds of things mashed together.
A bit more than eclectic.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, we've got Edgar Allan Poe, who people know, Ace Ventura, a noted mystery writer, and then maybe my favorite opening line in a novel, sort of novel, by Hunter S. Thompson. We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I just used that in an article I wrote about great first lines, and that to me is, it still catches you. I was talking to Richard Ford about first lines. He said the problem, anyone can write good first lines, which I doubt, but he said then you have to write the rest of the book.
And if you lavish 10 or 12 days on the first line,
Yeah.
you're never going to get through the rest of the book.
This is behind us, the Fight Club,
Yeah.
Raymond K. Hessel. Your dinner is going to taste better than any meal you have ever eaten. And tomorrow will be the most beautiful day of your life. The Fight Club, and that's by Chuck Palahniuk out of Portland, Oregon. This is amazing. I wish this could be saved, totally.
Let me read this one. This is Anita's handwriting. I recognize it. So Anita Skeen was my first mentor, and Liesl Mueller is one of her favorite poets, so I know that she's written this. The story of our life becomes our life, and each of us tells the same story, but tells it differently, and none of us tells it the same way twice. Because grandmothers looking like spiders want to enchant the children, and grandfathers need to convince us what happened because of them. And though we listened haphazardly with only one ear, we began our story with the word "and."
Beautiful. That's a beautiful segment of a poem. Isn't it?
I'd rather save the building now with the words in it than I did before. It was a crappy office building, but it's
Well,
certainly...
see, because it was made to be a woman's dorm. It was the first residence hall on campus.
And that's what feels so badly about it to me, that, it was the first women's dorm. It was the place where the women's studies was housed. It was, right, the place where the humanities was housed, and it wasn't worth maintaining. It wasn't,
How many years has it been in neglect?
Oh, I don't know that. But as long as I've been here, and I've been here 10 years.
There really hasn't been much done to it in decades, other than kind of hold it together.
Yeah.
And the problem with it, it's a wood building with a brick facade.
Yeah.
That's the real damage to it.
Yeah.
The risk of
Weight.
weight and the risk of fire here is scary.
Yeah.
So I think that went into it. Plus, the foundation is separating in a very large way.
Yeah. No, and I mean, the ceiling has fallen in on people in their offices. I mean, it's not safe anymore.
But what they did, I wish they would have documented it when they were here. This would have been one heck of a video for, and I don't know if English majors think that way, do they? They think visually, but they don't record visually too many times.
I think we're not, I don't know.
Of course,
I think
it could
we're
have been
not.
a wild party too.
I'm not of the generation, anyway, I'm 27, and I'm not of the generation where, I think immediately, let me get my phone out, right? I want to listen, and I let my mind sort of get things in that way. But people 5 years younger than me think very differently. They are immediately sort of recording it. But it's a different sort of impetus. It's like not really, they don't want to have it forever, they want to share it immediately. It's not necessarily for posterity, it's for instantaneous something, I don't know.
The popularity of Snapchat, it disappears after an hour.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I don't know, how many people do you think did this? Do you have any clue? I mean, a lot. There's an awful lot of...
I'd say at least 100.
the other thing that's interesting, the people that wrote, of course it's all written in a longhand form, but this is all going to be gone. People will look at this video 20 years from now, young people, and they will not be able to read some of this.
These phrases on the wall really help people put this in context. I mean, that's what this event was designed to do. People have left their memories here.
Yeah, I think this is sort of a really good, healthy way to sort of process the sadness that myself and a lot of other people have about this building going away. Because as you've said, right, it's sort of an institution, and what does that mean for the things that lived here? What does it mean for women's studies and English and history and the humanities at Michigan State? What does it mean for the humanities at Michigan State? So what I would love to see, and they have 10 and 20-year plans, but what I would love to see is a commitment to rebuild something like this, right? A house for the humanities at this university. A commitment.
One of the things we're talking about is the death of an institution in a way, and this is by William Faulkner, As I Lay Dying. My mother is a dead fish. And a lot of the quotes here are in that vein. So they gave it some thought.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's kind of cool about this. It would be interesting to do this in a new building and then leave it.
You can hear the bells out that window. So
Yeah, this was definitely a dorm room. The dorm rooms have all the cutouts, and then they've got a vent up here, a very large vent. There was probably 4 women in this room. No, they didn't bring much. They each got a trunk, basically, to bring to school.
And I love that you can sort of open that to have some more air in the
Yep,
summertime.
transoms. It's been a while since a building's been constructed on campus.
Is this your chance to say goodbye? Will you be back here before it goes?
Yeah, I probably will be. Probably will be.
So tell me about the ghosts of Morrill Hall.
But there's a lot of people who believe that there are ghosts still in this building. This building was opened in 1900. It was first opened for all women, and there are people that hear voices of women in here when there's no one in here. When I was in here for the first time, I didn't hear any voices, but I heard some whistling, and I certainly hoped it was from a window being open. It's very eerie in a building this size to be here alone, and every floor creaks, so you start hearing noises when someone's walking, if people are walking. But people who are here late at night, the professors, said they often heard voices, especially women's voices, when no one was supposed to be here. That's the ghost, but I think when they tear this building down, the ghost will go with them. They have amazing stories to tell. I got from the MSU archives a 4-year scrapbook of a young woman who went here, came off a farm community. She came here to learn economics, home economics, which included cooking, sewing. Everyone took a piano class. It was all those things that they could go back home, marry a farmer, and be the perfect wife. And I think there had to be a lot of women who went in different directions after they came here to MSU and saw what was beyond the little cities like Aranac and things like that. So I think some of those voices, we're just hearing them reminiscing.
It's from this website called The Rumpus, and there's this column called Dear Sugar, and it was anonymous for a long time, but it was Cheryl Stray writing these letters, and she came out.
Yes, of course.
And it's this young woman named Alyssa Basis who wrote to her and was all like, I want to be a writer, but it's so hard, and woe's me. And Dear Sugar writes her back, and she says, don't write like a boy, don't write like a woman, write like a motherfucker. Love, Sugar. And a lot of other things, but that was the end of the letter.
Yeah, Cheryl Stray is now very famous.
Very famous, yeah, and it happened like that. So, I love those columns.
There's a quote in a bookstore down in Ann Arbor by a very obscure Canadian author. I think his name is Hugh MacLennan, and he says, the life of an average novel is equal to that of a cat. These people, they can be very depressing. That's what I'm wondering. A lot of these are very depressing, introspective. In fact, Tom McGuane, a few years ago in a public event, talked about the reason he joined Red Cedar Review, which is a literary review on campus, is because they had big closets. And everybody was waiting for the punchline. Well, the punchline is that was where he was able to go to be alone with a young woman because there was no place on campus. So he picked, and I actually believe him, knowing big closets, and it does have big closets. Until I saw it, I thought, I wonder what he's talking about. Woody Allen. I don't want to achieve immortality through my work. I want to achieve it through not dying.
There's a real mixture from humor to pathos to...
only wish they would have let somebody video them doing this, because you could have asked them, why'd you choose that quote? What's special to you? There's so many stories here, you will never know. It's kind of like the building. You're just never going to know. That's what's, in a lot of ways, cool about ephemera. Once you accept it, that it's fleeting.
She's my favorite. I don't care what anybody says. She's my favorite. This is my favorite poem, and it's called "More Beautiful Than the Honey Locust Trees Are the Words of the Lord." And the passage that I've copied out here is, "Instead I prayed, O Lord, let me be something useful and unpretentious. Even the chimney swift sings, even the cobblestones have a task to do, and do it well."
nation.